Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We're going to be comparing the pros and cons of surfing versus skimboarding. Surfing, one is you probably get more barreled than skimboarding, let's just face it. You can go to huge waves, you can go to small waves, and even medium waves. Skimboarding, you're kind of limited to the smaller to medium size, and most of the time you're probably getting a closeout 90% of the time. I was actually talking to Sienna, my fiance, last night, and we were kind of doing this comparison. That's kind of how I got the idea. Skimboarding probably feels overall like better on top of the water. Even just like coming out of barrels, it just feels flawless and like so clean. Versus surfing, you're kind of dragging, or you have those fins and the rails are a little bit different. But obviously coming out of a barrel on each board, one way or the other, feels phenomenal.
Feels great, baby, doesn't it? Holy cow.
Starting off with surfing, I believe you can get more in and outs. I believe you can go on bigger waves, but there is a counter argument to that because there are people that are towing into big waves on a skimboard, like Lucas and Brad Domke. I think overall surfing is probably an easier alternative because one, you're probably not putting as much damage onto your body than skimboarding. You're just using more upper body. It feels more of a relaxed and enjoyable experience. Sometimes it's obviously stressful for beginners, but when you get to that comfortable mark, it is a more enjoyable experience. Versus even when you're pro, new, or even intermediate with skimboarding, you're getting pounded on the sand 100% of the time, and you're running as fast as you can for 1 to 2 hours straight. Versus paddling, it more feels like you're exercising or doing like very, very light push-ups, where to the point where it feels good when you're paddling. It's like a light burn. It's kind of nice versus like going super ham and super hard skimboarding. This is like the biggest thing that kind of makes me upset, is that you probably try harder to get a wave skimboarding, and the wave quality is probably like tenfold worse.
That's not fair.
Yeah, life's not fair, kid. Get over it.
So you can be in Hawaii on a reef break, sitting down in the same exact spot, catching in and out after in and out. Versus skimboarding, you're mainly just going after closeouts 100% of the time. I mean, let's face it. Like, you're literally doing a quick little turn onto the shore, and just, of course it looks cool and it is like a nice experience, but it's a closeout. Here we have Mason at the wedge. He kills it. He's definitely one of my favorite surfers. Okay, so kicking and paddling, right? Not as strenuous, probably like a 1 second to 2 second time frame of getting into the wave. Easy pop up, just setting up for the barrel, gets barreled, and comes out. So pretty sturdy, pretty steady, and clean. If you're on a skimboard doing that, or going into the same wave, like starting from a side wave and going into the wave, let's just say you do make this section, right here, you're done.
You're done.
Skimboarding, you can probably keep going down the line here and probably do like a 360 shove it and then ride it back up to the sand. So let's go to a skimboarding clip here. So this is like pretty like all-time Cabo. We went back in 2017 and we just scored these super heavy onshore wraps. He's running down the shore, right? Like as fast as he can. That was probably like 20 yards. He drops his board and he gets on top of the water. Here, if you were surfing, you would never ever go for this wave. But again, it is a cool wave. As a result, with surfing, you're probably getting more barreled. You're probably coming out of more barrels. It's easier on the body, and it's probably easier to pick up too as a beginner. Skimboarding, on the other hand, super hard on the body. You're getting pounded on the shore constantly. And then you're not really coming out of barrels. You're pretty much dead after a 2-hour session. Skimboarding versus surfing, you're probably like tired, but you're not like, my body needs a massage and a chiropractor all at the same second in time. Surfing, you can do some light stretches and be okay. Skimboarding, you're like, get me to a masseuse immediately. Now let's talk about skimming, where for some reason brings me back every time.
If you have a contract for me to review.
Yeah. Yeah. You can go over that with your attorney and do all your research.
I have done all the research I need.
That's it?
That's it. Signed, sealed, delivered. I'm all yours.
It's a tough situation because I know surfing's easier and probably I'd get better quality waves and do more turns on the wave. But every time there's swell, every time it's small, I end up just skimming regardless. So the point is that the feeling, I think, really addicts the skimboarders. Of course, doing a nice turn surfing, it feels great, but like constantly having a glide momentum or like a fluid momentum through the water without anything dragging, it's just super satisfying is how I can explain it. It's just like freaking putting a butter knife through butter. So I think that subconsciously addicts a lot of skimboarders to keep skimboarding. And also like the feeling of riding a wave finless is also like a super free feeling. You can like accidentally do a 360, which kind of throws you off a little bit, but also keeps it like new and unpredictable. Surfing, you can really predict waves and predict what you're gonna do. Skimboarding, like it can always change slightly. You can like one little hiccup or one little catch in the rail can really mess you up. Other than that, like my favorite feeling when skimboarding is running really fast, catching a side wave, and then going into a wedge, doing a nice turn, or obviously pulling in and getting barreled. If there's a spot where you can get barreled consistently and come out of them, skimboarding, I'd probably take that any day. But it's just the fact that skimboarding's so novelty and it's always a sand break where it's super inconsistent, the waves can always change, versus surfing where, such as like Pipeline, it kind of breaks in the same spot and it's super consistent. If people were coming out of waves consistently, such as surfing or at Pipeline, but it was a skim break, I'd probably take skimboarding all day long. But until I find that wave or that wave is made, I probably am gonna take surfing, even though I'm a pro skimboarder and I surf probably. Here's a wave that Blair rides at Sunago. So this is what I was talking about. So it's front side, you're facing the wave and you're on a skimboard, and this place gets pretty consistent with in and outs, but it's still a beach break where it can still get kind of unpredictable. This is probably the best representation ever. So he's surfing on the wave, right? And he's just getting absolutely barreled and just comes out super clean. Probably the best feeling. Look at his face. Versus freaking Pipeline. Like, look at that freaking wave. I don't even have to go on this video. That literally explained the whole thing. Drops in. Look at that freaking wave. That's what I'm talking about. Yo.
Hi, how was work?
I'm working right now. You want to end the video here?
End the video. No, look at me. Don't put me on it.
Say bye.
Bye.
That's all you gotta say?
What's the video about? Hey, why
Surf.
are you on it? Look at me right now.
Surfing versus skimboarding. Which one you got and why?
I'm choosing skimboarding because it's a very underrated sport and it's really fun and takes a lot of skill. And my fiance does it, so.
Sign us off.
Bye. Have a good one.